Stag on deck. Got that ethical wisdom to power up your life. Now, today we're going to talk about hydroelectric power. And these jokers are going to explain to us what they're doing in this energy mountain, as they call it. We're going to let them explain it. I'm going to put that good gloss on there. And we're going to get to the bottom of what the hell they're doing here. Because we know you can't create energy. You can't do it. I mean, let's see. Let's run it.
So, Grant, thank you very much for taking time to talk to us. I mean, I've always wanted to come and see this. This is an amazing facility you've got here. But can you just go through the basics of what it is? Because all I know is pumped storage. So you've got a lake at the top of the mountain, a lake at the bottom, and the water goes between the two.
Effectively, we're moving water backwards and forwards between those two lakes.
Right. Now, how does that make any sense, people? I'm always telling you that the way that the damn circuit works is it's a circuit. In other words, it's a river. It's a current. This right here, a transfer, up and down, up and down. What's the point? Like, what are they doing here? I don't understand. Maybe he's going to explain it to us. Let's see.
Morning will be brimming at the top lake, at Llyn, and then during the right periods of the day, we'd allow water to flow from the top lake to the bottom lake, and generate some power when there's demand on the grid system. And then generally overnight, we'll pump that water that's now in the bottom lake back up to Llyn for repeating again the following day.
Right. What?
It's much bigger than I thought. I knew it was big.
What?
Is it 600 meters?
How does that make, like, what hey, he said, let me, hang on. Hang on.
Its height is about 550 meters, yes. And then lake, there's two lakes.
Right. And the water goes between the two.
Effectively, we're moving water backwards and forwards between those two lakes.
Right.
So in the morning, we'll be brimming at the top lake, at Llyn. And then during the right periods of the day, we'd allow water to flow from the top lake to the bottom lake, and generate some power when there's demand on the grid system. And then generally overnight, we'll pump that water that's now in the bottom lake back up to.
So they expended all of this money to get a booster shot? Is that what he just said? That they spent all this whole fucking endeavor they got going on here is just a booster shot for peak hours during the day. How the fuck does this this is dumb. What is the point of this? I'll tell you it's a fucking psyop, dude. They got they're not operating a whole bunch of these. They can't be. This makes no sense. The only thing they can be doing here is just, putting on a show for you, just like they do down here at Nuclear One, here in Polk County, Arkansas. It's for show, man. They're not doing shit in there. I don't care what they say. They're fucking producing clouds out that motherfucker. That's about it. This right here, they ain't even doing that. This is just a damn fucking something to stimulate your fucking mind. Let's go.
Llyn for repeating again the following day.
Right.
No way.
Much bigger than I thought. I knew it was big, but is it 600 meters?
Its height is about 550 meters.
550 meters.
Yes.
So that is a colossal pressure then. And when it went at the bottom of that tube, the
it's
pressure
60 bars. That's 60 times atmospheric pressure.
Right.
Of pressure of the top lake pushing down on us down here.
Wow. And do you know? That's good. Is that important? It's alarms going off. But do you know how, in terms of volume of water, do you have any idea of what you would?
There's 7 million cubic meters of water up at the top lake.
Right.
If we're full, just over 7 million.
7 million cubic meters. Because that was one of the statistics I learned a long time ago with a very small watermill. Was 1 cubic meter of water dropping 1 meter produces 1 kilowatt. Is that about right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So you've got 7 million cubic meters.
That's of this water. So there's quite a lot of water up there. And obviously that will last us, if we were to generate as a full station output, around 5.5 hours worth of running.
Right.
And then it takes about 6.5 hours to pump that water back up the hill.
Did you hear what he just said? Because I was waiting for that, because I was knowing that it's got to take energy to fucking for them to do any fucking thing. It's good. They can't just do it. He said it's going to take them an hour longer to pump the shit up there than it do coming down. So that tells me that it fucking takes energy to do that shit. Like they're having to put energy into the system in order for it to operate. This is the dumbest shit.
If we were empty.
Listen to it.
If we were to generate as a full station output around 5.5 hours worth of running.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it takes about 6.5 hours to pump that water back up the hill if we were empty.
And in terms of
kidding me?
Use, then, would you presumably use more energy to pump it up?
That's
than
right.
you get
So we're a
back.
net consumer of power. So for every 3 units of electricity that we generate, we consume 4.
Right.
So that gives us enough.
So they cost money. Like they're not making anything. He just told you they're not making shit. Not a damn thing. They're actually consuming energy. So what in the fuck is this? Oh, somebody please explain this. You can't. This is just a fucking dumb shit, man.
A cycle efficiency of about 75%.
Which is actually it's pretty
wow.
good, because to pump that water up there, that's heavy.
That's right.
Push all that up.
And basically, we're just one big battery. So
Yeah.
Which basically, he just told you that they're fucking probably lying about the damn number. They probably more energy than
What's your
that.
total capacity
Do
in
this
terms
shit.
of gigawatt hours? If you were absolutely full at the top lake.
The top lake is about 10 gigawatt hours worth of stored energy.
Right.
We'd allow that water to flow down through the turbines during the day. And the utilisation of that water will change depending on the day and depending on what's happening in the market, what's happening on TV, whether it's cold, whether it's warm. So a load of factors go into that. But we will be just following a set of instructions either coming from the grid system operator or from our energy management centre.
And then can you vary? Because I saw you've got 6.
6
generators
machines here at
so can you vary the amount they're outputting? You can vary the amount of water that's going through.
We can indeed, yeah. So the units can generate power here at Denoric, anything from 150 megawatts up to just over 300 megawatts.
Right.
On each of the 6 machines.
Right. Wow. So each of those, because we saw one spinning, so
That's right.
That was a potential 300 megawatts.
300 megawatts potentially, yes. Yeah.
That is. Because the engineering is on such an enormous scale, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not just the fact that the engineering; it's the fact that where we are, we're inside a mountain.
Yeah.
So it's not just that you've got a generator and all the auxiliary systems that goes with generating electricity. It's the fact that it's deep inside a mountain in Snowdonia.
It's extraordinary. So the thing that's always intrigued me, because I've always completely understood the theory of water coming down, going through a turbine, driving a generator, going out into a lake, but it's how you get it back up, and what the machinery you use to get the water back up. I mean, is there separate pumps, or how do you
Totally the same piece of kit, basically, operating in reverse. So now we're using the generators as motors to drive our pumps, which were previously turbines, to suck the water out of the bottom lake, push it up the penstocks and the tunnels all the way up to Macklin again. So it's exactly the same piece of equipment in reverse.
Wow, that is amazing. So instead of power coming out of it, you're putting power into it.
Yes, that's right.
It's like regenerative braking in an electric car on a very, very big scale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, indeed.
Is there a kind of firm daily routine?
These fuckers stand here and talk about this shit like it makes some sense, man.
On demand, tends to vary depending on
I
our
don't get it.
positions would be. So there's never one day exactly the same as the previous one, because there'll be a load of these independent.
This is some bullshit, man.
Determining what the demand.
This is some bullshit.
On that particular day, and what other machines around the UK grid system are available, what problems there might be on
But you can
units.
also, from what I've heard,
So-
you can come online very quickly.
Indeed, a unit here can come online from a state of readiness in about 10 seconds.
Wow.
So that's what makes us unique to the other sort of more traditional thermal plant mirroring system.
Yeah, those traditional ones that don't fucking exist, because this is just a damn.
So it's basically flicking a big switch and it comes on.
There can't be many of these.
The economics of it
This is fucking
you can
stupid.
buy the electricity cheaper when you're pumping the water up, and you can charge more for it when you're letting it go.
That's the idea. Yeah. So the water the energy that you're procuring overnight to pump that water up the hill needs to be at a cheaper rate than what you were being
can
paid.
generate. Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. But that is one of the benefits.
So that sounds like a fucking scam, don't it?
I don't exactly know.
I wonder if they're gonna give you a fucking.
They're built in the days of the Central Electricity Generating Board.
CEGB.
That's right. So
What a
that
damn
was
joke.
in the early 70s, so 1974, so construction starts here locally. And then in 1983, the first machine was away at Norwich, and the place was obviously formally opened by Prince Charles in 84.
Right. Oh, I see. So okay. So it's been running.
And it's been running ever since. Utilisation changes as we discussed, but yes, in the early days it was more about running in standby modes and less as generation.
Right.
These days it's a bit more generation.
So do you think it's being used to generate more often now?
Yes.
Right. And that's presumably because of the introduction of things like renewables with fluctuating
and also market conditions.
Right.
So there was in the past it was around a pool incentivized market, whereas now there's a set of new electricity trading arrangements that we're working to, which has changed the environment that the power station is obviously working in.
Right. And that's the frustration I think that I've heard from the national grid operators is that they want 10 Dinorwigs. And it's that we just don't quite have the geography to support that.
I think that's one of the issues. I think when Dinorwig was being built, there were only 3 such sites in the UK that could be considered. All of them in this part of the world.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Because it's bizarre, not because I think of Scotland's got a few mountains, but
no, they were within about 10 or 15 miles of Llanberis.
Wow.
All 3, yes.
But there's no other. There's only there's this one in Festiniog.
There's Dinorwig here, Festiniog, which is about 12 to 15 miles away as the crow flies. Festiniog is a bit smaller, but still important to the sort of day-to-day running of the system.
But the construction of this is just mind-boggling, because I mean that central cave, which the turbines and generators are in, is huge.
Yeah, before we obviously put the floors in, the machine hall, as you just referred to, could house St Paul's Cathedral.
Wow.
Quite a big.
That is big. That must have been an amazing sight. If you're driving a truck in there for the first time ever, picking up some rocks. Oh my God! Yeah, it's very.
Yes, indeed.
Sort of,
I don't know what to say. I mean, I told you that these motherfuckers is scamming you, but this right here, whole nother level of dumb shit. I mean, a whole fucking mountain they carved out. Excuse me. Carve out a whole fucking mountain just to put this bullshit in there? For some peak hour fucking booster shot? I don't know, y'all. It seems like a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of work for a booster shot, man. I mean, wow. Until next time, Ekongalos, folks. I'm out.